Honest conviction is my courage, the Constitution is my guide. The goal to strive for is a poor government but a rich people. Legislation can neither be wise nor just which seeks the welfare of a single interest at the expense and to the injury of many and varied interests. If the rabble were lopped off at one end and the aristocrat at the other, all would be well with the country. There are some who lack confidence in the integrity and capacity of the people to govern themselves. To all who entertain such fears I will most respectfully say that I entertain none. If man is not capable, and is not to be trusted with the government of himself, is he to be trusted with the government of others? Who, then, will govern? The answer must be, man, for we have no angels in the shape of men, as yet, who are willing to take charge of our political affairs. Who, then, will govern? The answer must be, man, for we have no angels in the shape of men, as yet, who are willing to take charge of our political affairs. For myself, I care not whether treason be committed north or south, he that is guilty of treason is entitled to a traitor's fate. Let them impeach and be damned. The homestead policy was established only after long and earnest resistance. Experience proves its wisdom. The lands in the hands of industrious settlers, whose labor creates wealth and contributes to the public resources, are worth more to the United States than if they had been reserved as a solitude for future purchasers. The enactment of the Homestead Act would create the strongest tie between the citizen and the government. He would with cheerfulness contribute his proportionable part of the taxes to defray the expenses of the political system under which he lived. Notwithstanding a mendacious press, notwithstanding a subsidized gang of hirelings who have not ceased to traduce me, I have discharged all my official duties and fulfilled my pledges. And I say here tonight that if my predecessor had lived, the vials of wrath would have poured out upon him. My right side is paralyzed. I need no doctor. I can overcome my own troubles. If I am shot at, I want no man to be in the way of the bullet. Whenever you hear a man prating about the Constitution, spot him as a traitor. I have lived among Negroes, all my life, and I am for this government with slavery under the Constitution as it is. I am for the government of my fathers with Negroes. I am for it without Negroes. Before I would see this government destroyed, I would send every Negro back to Africa, disintegrated and blotted out of space. There are no good laws but such as repeal other laws. I realized, there are people out there who can beat me, want to beat me. And unless I continue to innovate and evolve, I am going to learn a painful lesson from someone who has. I tell our sisters in the South that so far as Tennessee is concerned, she will not be dragged into a Southern or any other confederacy until she has had time to consider, and then she will go when she believes it to be her interest, and not before. I have reached the summit of my ambition. I have been almost overwhelmed by the announcement of the which has so recently occurred. I feel incompetent to perform duties so important and responsible as those which have been so unexpectedly thrown upon me. I hold it the duty of the executive to insist upon frugality in the expenditure, and a sparing economy is itself a great national source. I am sworn to uphold the Constitution as Andy Johnson understands it and interprets it. Tyranny and despotism can be exercised by many, more rigorously, more vigorously, and more severely, than by one. The life of a republic lies certainly in the energy, virtue, and intelligence of its citizens. Slavery exists. It is black in the South, and white in the North. I hold it the duty of the executive to insist upon frugality in the expenditure, and a sparing economy is itself a great national source. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. Let food be thy medicine and medicine be thy food. There are in fact two things, science and opinion, the former begets knowledge, the latter ignorance. Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also a love of humanity. Walking is man's best medicine. As to diseases, make a habit of two things, to help, or at least, to do no harm. Declare the past, diagnose the present, foretell the future. Life is short, art long, opportunity fleeting, experiment dangerous, judgment difficult. People think that epilepsy is divine simply because they don't have any idea what causes epilepsy. But I believe that someday we will understand what causes epilepsy, and at that moment, we will cease to believe that it's divine. And so it is with everything in the universe. Life is short, art long, opportunity fleeting, experience treacherous, judgment difficult. The life so short, the craft so long to learn. It is far more important to know what person the disease has than what disease the person has. If you are in a bad mood, go for a walk. If you are still in a bad mood, go for another walk. First, do no harm. The natural healing force within each of us is the greatest force in getting well. That which is used, develops. That which is not used wastes away. Before you heal someone, ask him if he's willing to give up the things that make him sick. A wise man should consider that health is the greatest of human blessings, and learn how by his own thought to derive benefit from his illnesses. Healing is a matter of time, but it is sometimes also a matter of opportunity. Extreme remedies are very appropriate for extreme diseases. Natural forces within us are the true healers of disease. The soul is the same in all living creatures, although the body of each is different. The art is long, life is short, opportunity fleeting, experiment dangerous, judgment difficult. If we could give every individual the right amount of nourishment and exercise, not too little and not too much, we would have found the safest way to health. There are, in effect, two things, to know and to believe one knows. To know is science, to believe one knows is ignorance. The physician must be able to tell the antecedents, know the present, and foretell the future, must mediate these things, and have two special objects in view with regard to disease, namely, to do good or to do no harm. All parts of the body which have a function, if used in moderation and exercised in labors in which each is accustomed, become thereby healthy, well developed and age more slowly, but if unused they become liable to disease, defective in growth and age quickly. It's more important to know what sort of person has a disease than to know what sort of disease a person has. All disease begins in the gut. Cure sometimes, treat often, and comfort always. When sleep puts an end to delirium, it is a good symptom. Eunuchs do not take the gout, nor become bald. Disease not an entity, but a fluctuating condition of the patient's body, a battle between the substance of disease and the natural self-healing tendency of the body. It is more important to know what sort of person has a disease than to know what sort of disease a person has. For if a man by magical arts and sacrifices will bring down the moon, and darken the sun, and induce storms, or fine weather, I should not believe that there was anything divine, but human, in these things, provided the power of the divine were overpowered by human knowledge and subjected to it. Let food be your medicine. If you are in a bad mood, go for a walk. If you are still in a bad mood, go for another walk. Both sleep and insomnolency, when immoderate, are bad. Persons who have a painful affection in any part of the body, and are in a great measure sensible of the pain, are disordered in intellect. The chief virtue that language can have is clearness, and nothing detracts from it so much as the use of unfamiliar words. In whatever disease sleep is laborious, it is a deadly symptom, but if sleep does good, it is not deadly. Persons in whom a crisis takes place pass the night preceding the paroxysm uncomfortably, but the succeeding night generally more comfortably. What remains in diseases after the crisis is apt to produce relapses. When in a state of hunger, one ought not to undertake labor. All the most acute, most powerful, and most deadly diseases, and those which are most difficult to be understood by the inexperienced, fall upon the brain. A doctor who loves wisdom is nothing less than the gods. What medicines do not heal, the lance will; what the lance does not heal, fire will. In acute diseases it is not quite safe to prognosticate either death or recovery. But if they called everything divine which they do not understand, why there would be no end of divine things. The selflessness and dedication shown by many Greek doctors can be seen not only in such works as the Epidemics, but also in, for example, Thucydides' account of the plague at Athens, where he notes the high incidence of mortality from the disease among the doctors who attempted to treat it. Wherever the art of medicine is loved, there is also a love of humanity. The moment in fleeting the unsafe experience and the difficult judgment. Healing is tied to time and sometimes to circumstances as well. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. It will be found, in fact, that the ingenious are always fanciful, and the truly imaginative never otherwise than analytic. I continued, as was my wont, to smile in his face, and he did not perceive that my smile now was at the thought of his immolation. Thrilled me, filled me with fantastic terrors never felt before. Leave my loneliness unbroken. But we loved with a love that was more than love, I and my Annabel Lee. Yet mad I am not, and very surely do I not dream. There was an iciness, a sinking, a sickening of the heart, an unredeemed dreariness of thought which no goading of the imagination could torture into aught of the sublime. And then there stole into my fancy, like a rich musical note, the thought of what sweet rest there must be in the grave. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there, wondering, fearing, doubting, dreaming dreams no mortal ever dared to dream before. I call to mind flatness and dampness, and then all is madness, the madness of a memory which busies itself among forbidden things. Who has not, 100 times, found himself committing a vile or a silly action for no other reason than because he knows he should not? It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. In the deepest slumber no. In delirium no. In a swoon no. In death no. Even in the grave all is not lost. Let my heart be still a moment and this mystery explore. Now this is the point. You fancy me a mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded. True, nervous, very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am, but why will say that I am mad? The disease had sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. Above all was the sense of hearing acute. As a poet and as a mathematician, he would reason well; as a mere mathematician, he could not have reason at all. They who dream by day are cognizant of many things which escape those who dream only by night. A million candles have burned themselves out. Still I read on. Have we not a perpetual inclination, in the teeth of our best judgment, to violate that which is law, merely because we understand it to be such? For the moon never beams without bringing me dreams. Science has its place in man's search for understanding, but science and the imagination have tended to bifurcate in the modern world. Only the true poetic intellect can end this long-established dualism. There are few persons who have not, at some period of their lives, amused themselves in retracing the steps by which particular conclusions of their own minds have been attained. The occupation is often full of interest, and he who attempts it for the first time is astonished by the apparently illimitable distance and incoherence between the starting point and the goal. Coincidences, in general, are great stumbling blocks in the way of that class of thinkers who have been educated to know nothing of the theory of probabilities, that theory to which the most glorious objects of human research are indebted for the most glorious of illustration. I was deeply interested in the little family history which he detailed to me with all that candor which a Frenchman indulges whenever mere self is the theme. You will observe that the stories told are all about money seekers, not about money finders. That is another of your odd notions, said the prefect, who had a fashion of calling everything odd that was beyond his comprehension, and thus lived amid an absolute legion of oddities. How they scream out their affright! What a horror they outpour! And this I did for 7 long nights, every night just at midnight, but I found the eye always closed, and so it was impossible to do the work, for it was not the old man who vexed me, but his evil eye. I knew what the old man felt and pitied him, although I chuckled at heart. It was a low, dull, quick sound, much such a sound as a watch makes when enveloped in cotton. And it was the mournful influence of the unperceived shadow that caused him to feel, although he neither saw nor heard, to feel the presence of my head within the room. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than did mine. True. Nervous, very, very nervous I had been and am, but why will you say that I am mad? Almighty God, no, no. They heard, they suspected, they knew, they were making a mockery of my horror, this I thought, and this I think. It is impossible to say how first the idea entered my brain, but once conceived, it haunted me day and night. And have I not told you that what you mistake for madness is but over-acuteness of the sense? And every night, about midnight, I turned the latch of his door and opened it, oh so gently. All in vain, because death, in approaching him, had stalked with his black shadow before him, and enveloped the victim. To the fowl whose fiery eyes now burned into my bosom's core. Deep into that darkness peering, long I stood there wondering, fearing. In there stepped a stately raven of the saintly days of yore. Get thee back into the tempest and the night's Plutonian shore. Prophet, said I, thing of evil. Prophet still, if bird or devil. Whether tempter sent, or whether tempest tossed thee here ashore. Then this ebony bird beguiling my sad fancy into smiling, by the grave and stern decorum of the countenance it wore. Be that word our sign in parting, bird or fiend. I shrieked, upstarting. From my book Surcease of Sorrow, sorrow for the lost Lenore, for the rare and radiant maiden whom the angels name Lenore. His eyes flashed with a fierce light. He laughed and threw the bottle upwards with a gesticulation I did not understand. Its walls had been lined with human remains, piled to the vault overhead, in the fashion of the great catacombs of Paris. A moment more and I had fettered him to the granite. In painting and gem-mary, Fortunato, like his countrymen, was a quack, but in the matter of old wines he was sincere. It was about dusk, one evening during the supreme madness of the carnival season, that I encountered my friend. The 1,000 injuries of Fortunato I had borne as best I could, but when he ventured upon insult, I vowed revenge. At length I would be avenged, This was a point definitely settled, but the very definitiveness with which it was resolved precluded the idea of risk. I must not only punish but punish with impunity. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. There are no necessary evils in government. Its evils exist only in its abuses. Every man is equally entitled to protection by law. As long as our government is administered for the good of the people, and is regulated by their will, as long as it secures to us the rights of person and of property, liberty of conscience, and of the press, it will be worth defending. The rich inheritance bequeathed by our fathers has devolved upon us the sacred obligation of preserving it by the same virtues which conducted them through the eventful scenes of the Revolution and ultimately crowned their struggle with the noblest model of civil institutions. I would sincerely regret, and which never shall happen whilst I am in office, a military guard around the President. Fear not, the people may be deluded for a moment, but cannot be corrupted. I have great confidence in the virtue of the great majority of the people, and I cannot fear the result. As Americans, your country looks with confidence on her adopted children, for a valorous support, as a faithful return for the advantages enjoyed under her mild and equitable government. Disunion, by armed force, is treason. Nullification means insurrection and war, and the other states have a right to put it down. The free people of these United States have spoken, and consigned these wicked demagogues to their proper doom. Internal improvement and the diffusion of knowledge, so far as they can be promoted by the constitutional acts of the federal government, are of high importance. The people are the government, administering it by their agents. They are the government, the sovereign power. It is to be regretted that the rich and powerful too often bend the acts of government to their selfish purposes. Distinctions in society will always exist under every just government. It was settled by the Constitution, the laws, and the whole practice of the government that the entire executive power is vested in the President of the United States. In administering the laws of Congress, I shall keep steadily in view the limitations as well as the extent of the executive power, trusting thereby to discharge the functions of my office without transcending its authority. You must look to and provide for all possible contingencies. In one word, you must survey the whole ground. There are no necessary evils in government. Its evils exist only in its abuses. The great can protect themselves, but the poor and humble require the arm and shield of the law. The management of the public revenue, that searching operation in all governments, is among the most delicate and important trusts in ours, and it will, of course, demand no inconsiderable share of my official solicitude. Equality of talents, of education, or of wealth cannot be produced by human institutions. The wisdom of man never yet contrived a system of taxation that would operate with perfect equality. Heaven will be no heaven to me if I do not meet my wife there. There is nothing that I shudder at more than the idea of a separation of the union. The laws are supreme and the union indissoluble. It is unquestionably our true interest to cultivate the most friendly understanding with every nation and to avoid by every honorable means the calamities of war. Oh, do not cry, be good children, and we will all meet in heaven. The brave man inattentive to his duty is worth little more to his country than the coward who deserts in the hour of danger. It is unquestionably our true interest to cultivate the most friendly understanding with every nation and to avoid by every honorable means the calamities of war. In our colonial state, although dependent on another power, we very early considered ourselves as connected by common interest with each other. Equality of talents, of education, or of wealth cannot be produced by human institutions. If my humble efforts have in any degree contributed to preserve to you these blessings, I have been more than rewarded by the honors you have heaped upon me. Internal improvement and the diffusion of knowledge, so far as they can be promoted by the constitutional acts of the federal government, are of high importance. The Bible is the rock on which the republic rests. Desperate courage makes one a majority. But you must remember, my fellow citizens, that eternal vigilance by the people is the price of liberty, and that you must pay the price if you wish to secure the blessing. War is a blessing compared with national degradation. I know what I am fit for. I can command a body of men in a rough way, but I am not fit to be president. I shall not shrink from my duty, however painful it may be to my feelings to exercise such authority for the security of those individuals who, under the treaty, look to our government for the protection of those rights. Strict duty would require of me nothing more than the exercise of those powers with which I am now, or may hereafter be, invested, for preserving the Union, and for the execution of the laws. There is no pleasure in having nothing to do, the fun is having lots to do and not doing it. The bank is trying to kill me, sir, but I shall kill it. I have always been afraid of banks. You are a den of vipers and thieves. I intend to rout you out, and by the eternal God, I will rout you out. But if they have other power to regulate the currency, it was conferred to be exercised by themselves, and not to be transferred to a corporation. In 1812 General Jackson addressed us as citizens, fellow citizens. He wanted us to fight. We were citizens then. A charismatic figure, Jackson was combative, quick-tempered, and thin-skinned. It was in many ways that he was a genuine man of the people, sharing in large part their prejudices and idiosyncrasies. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. It is not the mountain we conquer but ourselves. People do not decide to become extraordinary. They decide to accomplish extraordinary things. Despite all I have seen and experienced, I still get the same simple thrill out of glimpsing a tiny patch of snow in a high mountain gully and feel the same urge to climb towards it. Life's a bit like mountaineering, never look down. Tourism is a very big economic benefit to the Sherpa people, and also, they have very strong ties to their own social attitudes and their own religion, so fortunately, they're not too influenced by many of our Western attitudes. Human life is far more important than just getting to the top of a mountain. It's not a real adventure when you have to pay for it. I think I mainly climb mountains because I get a great deal of enjoyment out of it. I never attempt to analyze these things too thoroughly, but I think that all mountaineers do get a great deal of satisfaction out of overcoming some challenge which they think is very difficult for them, or which perhaps may be a little dangerous. I think it all comes down to motivation. If you really want to do something, you will work hard for it. Good planning is important. I've also regarded a sense of humor as one of the most important things on a big expedition. When you're in a difficult or dangerous situation, or when you're depressed about the chances of success, someone who can make you laugh eases the tension. While on top of Everest, I looked across the valley towards the great peak Muckaloo and mentally worked out a route about how it could be climbed. It showed me that even though I was standing on top of the world, it wasn't the end of everything. I was still looking beyond to other interesting challenges. No one remembers who climbed Mount Everest the second time. I am a lucky man. I have had a dream and it has come true, and that is not a thing that happens often to men. Once I've decided to do something, I do usually try to carry it through to fruition. It's not a real adventure when you have to pay for it. There is something about building up a comradeship, that I still believe is the greatest of all feats, and sharing in the dangers with your company of peers. It's the intense effort, the giving of everything you've got. It's really a very pleasant sensation. I've always hated the danger part of climbing, and it's great to come down again because it's safe. I have never regarded myself as a hero, but Tenzing undoubtedly was. If you cannot understand that there is something in man which responds to the challenge of this mountain and goes out to meet it, that the struggle is the struggle of life itself upward and forever upward, then you won't see why we go. I was extremely lucky that I had 2 great wives. It sounds a bit funny to say that, but it's absolutely true. On the summit of Everest, I had a feeling of great satisfaction to be first there. There is precious little in civilization to appeal to a Yeti. If I wished to do something, even if I couldn't find anyone who wanted to make the effort with me, I would go out solo climbing. I did find solo climbing very challenging and a little frightening. You knew that you were completely on your own, and you had to overcome all the problems and possible dangers. I really haven't liked the commercialization of mountaineering, particularly of empty Everest. By paying $65,000, you can be conducted to the summit by a couple of good guides. I was scared many times on Everest, but this is all part of the challenge. When I fell down a crevasse, it was pretty scary. When you're climbing at high altitudes, life can get pretty miserable. I think Himalayan climbers tend to mature fairly late. I think most of the successful Himalayan climbers have ranged from 28 to just over 40, really. Becoming a Sir is slightly uncomfortable at first, although it is a considerable honor. It is amazing how quickly you become accustomed to it. I hate being called an icon. I just don't like it. That's all there is to it. I don't know if I particularly want to be remembered for anything. I personally do not think I'm a great gift to the world. I've been very fortunate. My most important projects have been the building and maintaining of schools and medical clinics for my dear friends in the Himalaya and helping restore their beautiful monasteries, too. My mother was a schoolteacher and very keen that I go to a city school, so although it was fairly impoverished times, I traveled every day to the Auckland Grammar School. Ever since the morning of May 29, 1953, when Tenzing Norgay and I became the first climbers to step onto the summit of Mount Everest, I've been called a great adventurer. I have enjoyed great satisfaction from my climb of Everest and my trips to the poles. But there's no doubt that my most worthwhile things have been the building of schools and medical clinics. I'm sure the feeling of fear, as long as you can take advantage of it and not be rendered useless by it, can make you extend yourself beyond what you would regard as your capacity. If you're afraid, the blood seems to flow freely through the veins, and you really do feel a sense of stimulation. Nobody climbs mountains for scientific reasons. Science is used to raise money for the expeditions, but you really climb for the hell of it. When I was 50 years old, I actually decided to draw up a list of half a dozen things that I really hadn't done very well, and I was going to make efforts to improve. One of them was skiing, and I really did become a very much better skier. I think that a good mountaineer is usually a sensible mountaineer. I think the really good mountaineer is the man with the technical ability of the professional and with the enthusiasm and freshness of approach of the amateur. The Sherpas play a very important role in most mountaineering expeditions, and in fact many of them lead along the ridges and up to the summit. Even when you're 50, you can make the effort to improve your standards. I believe that of all the things I have done, exciting though many of them have been, there's no doubt in my mind that the most worthwhile have been the establishing of schools and hospitals, and the rebuilding of monasteries in the mountains. Many people have been getting too casual about climbing Everest. I forecast a disaster many times. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about dying, but I like to think that if it did occur, that I would die peacefully and not make too much of a fuss about it. When I was climbing, I built up a close relationship with the Sherpa people. The truth is, I'm just a rough old New Zealander who has enjoyed many challenges in his life. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. Failure at some point in your life is inevitable, but giving up is unforgivable. Fighting corruption is not just good governance. It's self-defense. It's patriotism. Folks, I can tell you I've known 8 presidents, 3 of them intimately. If you need more than 10 rounds to hunt, and some argue they hunt with that many rounds, you shouldn't be hunting. If you can't get the deer in 3 shots, you shouldn't be hunting. You are an embarrassment. The greatest gift is the ability to forget the bad things and focus on the good. My dad always said, "Champ, the measure of a man is not how often he is knocked down, but how quickly he gets up." In the good old days when I was a senator, I was my own man. No fundamental social change occurs merely because government acts. It's because civil society, the conscience of a country, begins to rise up and demand change. Corruption is a cancer that eats away at a citizen's faith in democracy, diminishes the instinct for innovation and creativity, already tight national budgets, crowding out important national investments. It wastes the talent of entire generations. It scares away investments and jobs. If I don't run for president, we'll all be okay. Our future cannot depend on the government alone. The ultimate solutions lie in the attitudes and the actions of the American people. My father used to have an expression. He'd say, "Joey, a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. It's about your place in your community." Life is a matter of really tough choices. I know I'm not supposed to like muscle cars, but I like muscle cars. In Delaware, the largest growth in population is Indian Americans moving from India. You cannot go to a 7-Eleven or a Dunkin' Donuts unless you have a slight Indian accent. I'm not joking. When my first semester grades came out, my mom and dad told me I wouldn't be playing football. We didn't crumble after September 11th. We didn't falter after the Boston Marathon. But we're America. Americans will never, ever stand down. We endure. We overcome. We own the finish line. America doesn't have health insurance. I was kind of secretly hoping one of my kids would go out and make $1 million. So when they put me in a home, at least I'll have a window with a view. For any young democracy, the most difficult but important step is burying the legacy of tyranny and establishing an economy and a government and institutions that abide by the rule of law. Every country faces challenges to the rule of law, including my own. I used to stutter really badly. Everybody thinks it's funny. And it's not funny. It's not. Reality has a way of intruding. Reality eventually intrudes on everything. No one ever doubts that I mean what I say. The problem is I sometimes say all that I mean. For too long in this society, we have celebrated unrestrained individualism over common community. Corruption is just another form of tyranny. I have no doubt that Russia will and should remain a major source of energy supplies for Europe and the world. Given a fair shot, given a fair chance, Americans have never, ever, ever, ever let their country down. Never. Never. Ordinary people like us, who do extraordinary things. My dad used to have an expression, "It is the lucky person who gets up in the morning, puts both feet on the floor, knows what they are about to do, and thinks it still matters." Unions did in fact build the middle class. And here's what that did. That built the United States of America as we know it. We are America, second to none, and we own the finish line. Don't forget it. Look, freedom is an overwhelming American notion. The idea that we want to see the world, the peoples of the world free, is something that all of us subscribe to. As a matter of fact, I didn't make a political speech outside of my state for 20 years. Let me tell you what I literally told every world leader I've met with, and I've met them all: it's never, never, never been a good bet to bet against America. We have the finest fighting force in the world. The devastating punch we took on September 11th still reverberates throughout American society. When we wrote the Constitution, the intention was to give the Commander-in-Chief the authority how to use the forces when you authorize him to be able to use the forces. I've been waiting over 40 years to come to Cyprus, and it has not disappointed, the birthplace of Aphrodite, the crossroads of civilization, and, I might add, a genuine strategic partner to the United States of America. Barack Obama is probably the most exciting candidate that either the Democratic or Republican Party has produced, at least since I've been around. He's fresh, he's new, he's insightful. I exaggerate when I'm angry, but I've never gone around telling people things that aren't true about me. I have a really close relationship with Mike Bloomberg. Most Americans think there's already universal background checks. They don't understand why there wouldn't be a background check to purchase a weapon. It's presumptuous to say you know how somebody feels. Well, I thought the deal was, when you went to work for the government you weren't supposed to make money. Al-Qaeda is almost all in Pakistan, and Pakistan has nuclear weapons. And yet for every dollar we're spending in Pakistan, we're spending $30 in Afghanistan. Does that make strategic sense? Foreign policy is like human relations, only people know less about each other. One of the things I've never been accused of is not caring about people. The 21st century is going to be the American century. Because we lead not only by the example of our power, but by the power of our example. That is the history of the journey of America. In my heart, I'm confident I could make a good president. The Chinese have figured out that they have a giant environmental problem. Folks in Beijing, some days, literally can't breathe. Over 1 million Chinese die prematurely every year because of air pollution. Let's just be smart this time. I'm looking for smart. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. I have always done my duty. I am ready to die. My only regret is for the friends I leave behind me. I hope some compromise will be entered into between the two parties, slavery and anti-slavery, which will have the effect of allaying violent passions on both sides. In no case can I permit myself to be a candidate of any party or yield myself to any party schemes. I have never yet exercised the privilege of voting, but had I been called upon at the last presidential election to do so, I should most certainly have cast my vote for Mr. Clay. The confidence and respect shown by my countrymen in calling me to be the chief magistrate of a republic holding a high rank among the nations of the earth have inspired me with feelings of the most profound gratitude. Soldiers, I intend to stay here, not only as long as a man remains, but as long as a piece of a man is left. The appointing power vested in the President imposes delicate and onerous duties. So far as it is possible to be informed, I shall make honesty, capacity, and fidelity indispensable prerequisites to the disposal of office, and the absence of either of these qualities shall be deemed sufficient cause for removal. I will not say I would not serve if the good people were imprudent enough to elect me. In all disputes between conflicting governments, it is our interest not less than our duty to remain strictly neutral. The idea that I should become president seems to me too visionary to require a serious answer. It has never entered my head, nor is it likely to enter the head of any other person. If elected, I would not be the mere president of a party. I would endeavor to act independent of party domination and should feel bound to administer the government untrammeled by party schemes. Never judge a stranger by his clothes. My wife was as much of a soldier as I was. It would be judicious to act with magnanimity towards a prostrate foe. For more than a quarter of a century on active duty, my house has been my tent, and my home the battlefield. I know enough of the family life of officers. I scarcely know my own children or they me. In reference to the Army and Navy, lately employed with so much distinction on active service, care shall be taken to ensure the highest condition of efficiency, and in furtherance of that object, the military and naval schools, sustained by the liberality of Congress, shall receive the special attention of the executive. I cannot in any case permit myself to be brought before the people, exclusively, by any of the political parties that now so unfortunately divide our country, as their candidate for office. I did not expect to encounter what has beset me since my elevation to the presidency. God knows, I have endeavored to fulfill what I considered to be an honest duty, but I have been mistaken, my motives have been misconstrued and my feelings grossly betrayed. As American freemen, we cannot but sympathize in all efforts to extend the blessings of civil and political liberty, but at the same time, we are warned by the admonitions of history and the voice of our own beloved Washington to abstain from entangling alliances with foreign nations. As to the Constitution and the Union, I have taken an oath to support the one, and I cannot do so without preserving the other, unless I commit perjury, which I certainly don't intend to do. We must cherish the Constitution to the last. Economy I consider a virtue and should be practiced by all. There is certainly no way in which money can be laid out than in the education of children. My duty to the Army and to the Republic whose battles we were waging forbade me assuming a position of seeming hostility to any portion of the brave men under my command. I have no private purpose to accomplish, no party objectives to build up, no enemies to punish, nothing to serve but my country. A strong reputation is like a good bonfire. When you have one kindled, it's easy to keep the flame burning, even if someone comes along and tries to piss on it. But if you fall asleep and neglect it, you'll wake up with ashes. The Bible is the best of books, and I wish it were in the hands of everyone. It is indispensable to the safety and permanence of our institutions. A free government cannot exist without religion and morals, and there cannot be morals without religion. Especially should the Bible be placed in the hands of the young. It is the best school book in the world. I would that all our people were brought up under the influence of that holy book. Stop your nonsense and drink your whiskey. I am not a party candidate, and if elected cannot be president of a party, but the president of the whole people. In the discharge of duties my guide will be the Constitution, which I this day swear to preserve, protect, and defend. My life has been devoted to arms, yet I look upon war at all times, and under all circumstances, as a national calamity to be avoided if compatible with national honor. May the boldest fear and the wisest tremble when incurring responsibilities on which may depend our country's peace and prosperity, and in some degree the hopes and happiness of the whole human family. The only ground of hope for the continuance of our free institutions is in the proper moral and religious training of the children, that they may be prepared to discharge aright the duties of men and citizens. I regret nothing, but I am sorry that I am about to leave my friends. For more than half a century, this union has stood unshaken. Whatever dangers may threaten it, I shall stand by it and maintain it in its integrity to the full extent of the obligations imposed and the powers conferred upon me by the Constitution. I shall pursue a straightforward course, deviating neither to the right or left, so that comes what may I hope my real friends will never have to blush for me, so far as truth, honesty and fair dealings are concerned. Let us invoke a continuance of the same protecting care which has led us from small beginnings to the eminence we this day occupy. For more than half a century, during which kingdoms and empires have fallen, this union has stood unshaken. The patriots who formed it have long since descended to the grave, yet still it remains, the proudest monument to their memory. The power given by the Constitution to the executive to interpose his veto is a high conservative power, but in my opinion it should never be exercised except in cases of clear violation of the Constitution, or manifest haste and want of due consideration by Congress. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. There is nothing left to do but get drunk. In expressing briefly my views upon an important subject which has recently agitated the nation, I fervently hope that the question is at rest and that no sectional or ambitious or fanatical excitement may again threaten the durability of our institutions. I speak of the war as fruitless, for it is clear that, prosecuted upon the basis of the proclamations of September 22d and September 24, 1862, prosecuted, as I must understand these proclamations, to say nothing of the kindred blood which has followed, upon the theory of emancipation, devastation, subjugation, it cannot fail to be fruitless in everything except the harvest of woe which it is ripening for what was once the peerless republic. If your past is limited, your future is boundless. While men inhabiting different parts of this vast continent cannot be expected to hold the same opinions, they can unite in a common objective and sustain common principles. It must be felt that there is no national security but in the nation's humble, acknowledged dependence upon God and His overruling providence. You have summoned me in my weakness. You must sustain me in your strength. I never justify, sustain, or in any way or to any extent uphold this cruel, heartless, aimless unnecessary war. Frequently the more trifling the subject, the more animated and protracted the discussion. I can express no better hope for my country than that the kind providence which smiled upon our fathers may enable their children to preserve the blessings they have inherited. I cannot find any authority in the Constitution for public charity. Of all knaves the religious knave is the worst. After the White House, what is there to do but drink? In a body, like Congress, where there are more than 100 talking lawyers, you can make no calculation upon the termination of any debate. But let not the foundation of our hope rest upon man's wisdom. It will not be sufficient that sectional prejudices find no place in the public deliberations. It will not be sufficient that the rash counsels of human passion are rejected. It must be felt that there is no national security but in the nation's humble, acknowledged dependence upon God and His overruling providence. The dangers of a concentration of all power in the general government of a confederacy so vast as ours are too obvious to be disregarded. The founders of the Republic dealt with things as they were presented to them, in a spirit of self-sacrificing patriotism and, as time has proved, with a comprehensive wisdom which it will always be safe for us to consult. With the Union my best and dearest earthly hopes are entwined. There's nothing left but to get drunk. A republic without parties is a complete anomaly. The histories of all popular governments show absurd is the idea of their attempting to exist without parties. I find the remark, "'Tis distance lends enchantment to the view," is no less true of the political than of the natural world. The revenue of the country, levied almost insensibly to the taxpayer, goes on from year to year, increasing beyond either the interests or the prospective wants of the government. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. Do not judge me by my successes, judge me by how many times I fell down and got back up again. It always seems impossible until it's done. Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. One cannot be prepared for something while secretly believing it will not happen. What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life we lead. Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping it will kill your enemies. For to be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. There is nothing like returning to a place that remains unchanged to find the ways in which you yourself have altered. I have taken a moment here to rest, to steal a view of the glorious vista that surrounds me, to look back on the distance I have come. But I can only rest for a moment, for with freedom come responsibilities, and I dare not linger, for my long walk is not ended. Lead from the back, and let others believe they are in front. I am not a saint, unless you think of a saint as a sinner who keeps on trying. There is no passion to be found playing small, in settling for a life that is less than the one you are capable of living. As I have said, the first thing is to be honest with yourself. You can never have an impact on society if you have not changed yourself. Everyone can rise above their circumstances and achieve success if they are dedicated to and passionate about what they do. It is said that no one truly knows a nation until one has been inside its jails. A winner is a dreamer who never gives up. Live life as though nobody is watching, and express yourself as though everyone is listening. I had no epiphany, no singular revelation, no moment of truth, but a steady accumulation of 1,000 slights, 1,000 indignities and 1,000 unremembered moments produced in me an anger, a rebelliousness, a desire to fight the system that imprisoned my people. There was no particular day on which I said, henceforth I will devote myself to the liberation of my people. Instead, I simply found myself doing so, and could not do otherwise. I hate race discrimination most intensely and in all its manifestations. I have fought it all during my life, I fight it now and will do so until the end of my days. Sometimes it falls upon a generation to be great, you can be that generation. It is what we make out of what we have, not what we are given, that separates one person from another. We must use time creatively, and forever realize that the time is always ripe to do right. There is a universal respect and even admiration for those who are humble and simple by nature, and who have absolute confidence in all human beings irrespective of their social status. I have never cared very much for personal prizes. A person does not become a freedom fighter in the hope of winning awards. I never lose. I either win or learn. I like friends who have independent minds because they tend to make you see problems from all angles. Man's goodness is a flame that can be hidden but never extinguished. I learned that to humiliate another person is to make him suffer an unnecessarily cruel fate. Even as a boy, I defeated my opponents without dishonoring them. Although I am a gregarious person, I love solitude even more. As long as many of our people still live in utter poverty, as long as children still live under plastic covers, as long as many of our people are still without jobs, no South African should rest and wallow in the joy of freedom. Overcoming poverty is not a task of charity, it is an act of justice. Like slavery and apartheid, poverty is not natural. It is man-made and it can be overcome and eradicated by the actions of human beings. It is not our diversity which divides us, it is not our ethnicity or religion or culture that divides us. Since we have achieved our freedom, there can only be one division amongst us, between those who cherish democracy and those who do not. A nation should not be judged by how it treats its highest citizens, but its lowest ones. The greatest glory in living lies not in never falling, but in rising every time we fall. Where you stand depends on where you sit. I am the captain of my soul. A leader is like a shepherd. He stays behind the flock, letting the most nimble go out ahead, whereupon the others follow, not realizing that all along they are being directed from behind. Appearances matter, and remember to smile. After climbing a great hill, one only finds that there are many more hills to climb. Nothing is black or white. Great peacemakers are all people of integrity, of honesty, but humility. Freedom is indivisible. The chains on any one of my people were the chains on all of them, the chains on all of my people were the chains on me. There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children. Know your enemy, and learn about his favorite sport. Quitting is leading too. When the water starts boiling, it is foolish to turn off the heat. It is not where you start but how high you aim that matters for success. Keep your friends close, and your rivals even closer. Let your greatness blossom. Success in politics demands that you must take your people into confidence about your views and state them very clearly, very politely, very calmly, but nevertheless, state them openly. In some ways, it is easier to be a dissident, for then one is without responsibility. Let there be justice for all. Let there be peace for all. Let there be work, bread, water and salt for all. Let each know that for each the body, the mind and the soul have been freed to fulfill themselves. When a man is denied right to live the life he believes in, he has no choice but to become an outlaw. Without language, one cannot talk to people and understand them, one cannot share their hopes and aspirations, grasp their history, appreciate their poetry, or savor their songs. A good head and good heart are always a formidable combination. But when you add to that a literate tongue or pen, then you have something very special. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. We all do better when we work together. Our differences do matter, but our common humanity matters more. From Bill Clinton's speech. People are more impressed by the power of our example rather than the example of our power. There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America. When our memories outweigh our dreams, it is then that we become old. If you live long enough, you'll make mistakes. But if you learn from them, you'll be a better person. It's how you handle adversity, not how it affects you. The main thing is never quit, never quit, never quit. The real differences around the world today are not between Jews and Arabs, Protestants and Catholics, Muslims, Croats, and Serbs. The real differences are between those who embrace peace and those who would destroy it. Between those who look to the future and those who cling to the past. Between those who open their arms and those who are determined to clench their fists. Being president is like being the groundskeeper in a cemetery. There are a lot of people under you, but none of them are listening. If you want to live like a Republican, vote like a Democrat. All America loses when any person is denied or forced out of a job because of sexual orientation. Being gay, the last time I thought about it, seemed to have nothing to do with the ability to read a balance book, fix a broken bone, or change a spark plug. People around the world have always been more impressed by the power of our example than by the example of our power. We cannot build our own future without helping others to build theirs. A man is more than the sum of all the things he can do. Mental illness is nothing to be ashamed of, but stigma and bias shame us all. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Each bloodletting hastens the next, and as the value of human life is degraded and violence becomes tolerated, the unimaginable becomes more conceivable. You can put wings on a pig, but that doesn't make it an eagle. We live in a completely interdependent world, which simply means we cannot escape each other. How we respond to AIDS depends, in part, on whether we understand this interdependence. It is not someone else's problem. This is everybody's problem. If one candidate is appealing to your fears, and the other one's appealing to your hopes, you'd better vote for the person who wants you to think and hope. They should be impressed by the power of our example, not the example of our power. If you live long enough, you'll make mistakes. But if you learn from them, you'll be a better person. The media knows what sells, conflict and division. It's also quick and easy. All too often anger works better than answers, resentment better than reason, emotion trumps evidence. A sanctimonious, sneering one-liner, no matter how bogus, is seen as straight talk, while a calm, well-argued response is seen as canned and phony. We all do better when we work together. Our differences do matter, but our common humanity matters more. When our memories outweigh our dreams, we have grown old. Our democracy must be not only the envy of the world but the engine of our own renewal. There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America. That's the permanent mission our founding fathers left us, moving toward the more perfect union. When I was in England, I experimented with marijuana a time or two, and I didn't like it. I didn't inhale. He didn't say a word or do an action that did not have a purpose. Gerald Ford once said that an impeachable offense is whatever a majority of the House of Representatives says it is. Sometimes when people are under stress, they hate to think, and it's the time when they most need to think. There is nothing wrong with America that cannot be cured by what is right with America. That depends on what your definition of is. A man you can bait with a tweet is not a man we can trust with nuclear weapons. Follow the trend lines, not the headlines. Someday we hope to liberate every man on earth from the tendency as old as human history to identify our strength and manhood with the ability to control the lives, limit the chances, and doom the dreams of women and girls. All too often, those who rail against them prevail over earnest pleas to remember what we can be and do together. Our brains have worked this way for a long time. Maybe they always will. But we have to keep trying. That's the permanent mission our founding fathers left us, moving toward the more perfect union. This is a practical country. We have ideals, we have philosophies. But, the problem with any ideology is that it gives the answer before you look at the evidence. Sometimes the them strategy is just a narcotic to feed the beast in all of us. Obama doesn't know how to be president. He doesn't know how the world works. He's incompetent. He's an amateur. Walter Cronkite, was also a profoundly good man. I don't think we should lose sight of that. All those professional gifts emanated from a very good core, and that's something that's beyond training. It's who he was. His knowledge of war has fed a passion for peace. If we don't succeed, we run the risk of failure. Psychologically, we're all a complex mixture of hopes and fears. Each day we wake up with the scales tipping a bit one way or the other. If they go too far toward hopefulness, we can become naive and unrealistic. If the scales tilt too far the other way, we can get consumed by paranoia and hatred. Do as much as you can for as many as you can, every day. Even on the bad days, there's always something good you can do. All too often anger works better than answers, resentment better than reason, emotion trumps evidence. A sanctimonious, sneering one-liner, no matter how bogus, is seen as straight talk, while a calm, well-argued response is seen as canned and phony. I'm out of rabbits and hats to pull them out of. And you hear me, you unelected flunky. I only take orders from the president. Until I hear from him, I'll be. If there is nothing else to learn from history, it's that from humans to animals, from the most primitive to the most civilized, most individuals want to be led. Take out the leader, and the rest of the pack panics. We know we have to face hard truths and take strong steps, but we have not done so. Instead, we have drifted. And that drifting has eroded our resources, fractured our economy, and shaken our confidence. The idea that power was an end in itself, rather than a means to provide the security and opportunity necessary for the pursuit of happiness, seemed to him stupid and self-defeating. About Senator Fulbright. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. Once you learn to read, you will be forever free. It is easier to build strong children than to repair broken men. I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false, and to incur my own abhorrence. Knowledge makes a man unfit to be a slave. Where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel that society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob and degrade them, neither persons nor property will be safe. I prayed for freedom for 20 years, but received no answer until I prayed with my legs. Without a struggle, there can be no progress. The white man's happiness cannot be purchased by the black man's misery. To suppress free speech is a double wrong. It violates the rights of the hearer as well as those of the speaker. People might not get all they work for in this world, but they must certainly work for all they get. Power concedes nothing without a demand. It never did and it never will. I would unite with anybody to do right and with nobody to do wrong. It is not light that we need, but fire, it is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, and the earthquake. Slaves are generally expected to sing as well as to work. The American people have this to learn, that where justice is denied, where poverty is enforced, where ignorance prevails, and where any one class is made to feel that society is an organized conspiracy to oppress, rob, and degrade them, neither person nor property is safe. Slaves sing most when they are most unhappy. The songs of the slave represent the sorrows of his heart, and he is relieved by them, only as an aching heart is relieved by its tears. No man can put a chain about the ankle of his fellow man without at last finding the other end fastened about his own neck. A gentleman will not insult me, and no man not a gentleman can insult me. In a composite nation like ours, as before the law, there should be no rich, no poor, no high, no low, no white, no black, but common country, common citizenship, equal rights and a common destiny. A man is worked upon by what he works on. He may carve out his circumstances, but his circumstances will carve him out as well. The life of a nation is secure only while the nation is honest, truthful, and virtuous. Power concedes nothing without a demand. I had as well be killed running as die standing. Find out just what any people will quietly submit to, and you have the exact measure of the injustice and wrong which will be imposed on them. For of all slaveholders with whom I have ever met, religious slaveholders are the worst. I have ever found them the meanest and basest, the most cruel and cowardly, of all others. Some know the value of education by having it. I know its value by not having it. A smile or a tear has not nationality, joy and sorrow speak alike to all nations, and they, above all the confusion of tongues, proclaim the brotherhood of man. You have seen how a man was made a slave, you shall see how a slave was made a man. What to the slave is the 4th of July? The destiny of the colored American is the destiny of America. The soul that is within me no man can degrade. The man who is right is a majority. He who has God and conscience on his side, has a majority against the universe. A man who will enslave his own blood, may not be safely relied on for magnanimity. Freedom is a road seldom traveled by the multitude. The silver trump of freedom roused in my soul eternal wakefulness. My hopes were never brighter than now. Our destiny is largely in our hands. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Those who profess to favor freedom, and yet deprecate agitation, are men who want crops without plowing up the ground. They want rain without thunder and lightning. But I should be false in the earliest sentiments of my soul, if I suppressed the opinion. I prefer to be true to myself, even at the hazard of incurring the ridicule of others, rather than to be false, and incur my own abhorrence. We have to do with the past only as we can make it useful to the present and the future. Experience is a keen teacher. I didn't know I was a slave until I found out I couldn't do the things I wanted. The relation between the white and colored people of this country is the great, paramount, imperative, and all-commanding question for this age and nation to solve. Men talk of the Negro problem. There is no Negro problem. The problem is whether the American people have honesty enough, loyalty enough, honor enough, patriotism enough to live up to their Constitution. Who would be free themselves must strike the blow. I urge you to fly to arms and smite to death the power that would bury the government and your liberty in the same hopeless grave. This is your golden opportunity. I will give Mr. Freeland the credit of being the best master I ever had, till I became my own master. The Christianity of America is a Christianity, of whose votaries it may be as truly said, as it was of the ancient scribes and Pharisees, they bind heavy burdens, and grievous to be borne, and lay them on men's shoulders, but they themselves will not move them with one of their fingers. Right is of no sex, truth is of no color, God is the Father of us all, and we are all brethren. Immense wealth, and its lavish expenditure, fill the great house with all that can please the eye, or tempt the taste. Here, appetite, not food, is the great desideratum. What upon earth is the matter with the American people? Do they really covet the world's ridicule as well as their own social and political ruin? There is not a man beneath the canopy of heaven that does not know that slavery is wrong for him. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. I have never met a man so ignorant that I couldn't learn something from him. I do not feel obliged to believe that the same God who has endowed us with sense, reason, and intellect has intended us to forego their use. You cannot teach a man anything, you can only help him find it within himself. In questions of science, the authority of 1,000 is not worth the humble reasoning of a single individual. All truths are easy to understand once they are discovered, the point is to discover them. Passion is the genesis of genius. The sun, with all those planets revolving around it and dependent on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as if it had nothing else in the universe to do. It is a beautiful and delightful sight to behold the body of the moon. Wine is sunlight, held together by water. There are those who reason well, but they are greatly outnumbered by those who reason badly. Long experience has taught me this about the status of mankind with regard to matters requiring thought: the less people know and understand about them, the more positively they attempt to argue concerning them, while on the other hand to know and understand a multitude of things renders men cautious in passing judgment upon anything new. And yet it moves. Measure what can be measured, and make measurable what cannot be measured. Mathematics is the language in which God has written the universe. My dear Kepler, what would you say of the learned here, who, replete with the pertinacity of the ASP, have steadfastly refused to cast a glance through the telescope? What shall we make of this? Shall we laugh, or shall we cry? It is surely harmful to souls to make it a heresy to believe what is proved. By denying scientific principles, one may maintain any paradox. With regard to matters requiring thought, the less people know and understand about them, the more positively they attempt to argue concerning them. See now the power of truth, the same experiment which at first glance seemed to show one thing, when more carefully examined, assures us of the contrary. Names and attributes must be accommodated to the essence of things, and not the essence to the names, since things come first and names afterwards. I've loved the stars too fondly to be fearful of the night. In the sciences, the authority of thousands of opinions is not worth as much as one tiny spark of reason in an individual man. The Bible shows the way to go to heaven, not the way the heavens go. Philosophy is written in that great book which ever lies before our eyes, I mean the universe, but we cannot understand it if we do not first learn the language and grasp the symbols, in which it is written. We cannot teach people anything, we can only help them discover it within themselves. They seem to forget that the increase of known truths stimulates the investigation, establishment and growth of the arts, not their diminution or destruction. The sun, with all the planets revolving around it, and depending on it, can still ripen a bunch of grapes as though it had nothing else in the universe to do. Measure what is measurable, and make measurable what is not so. In time you may discover everything that can be discovered, and still your progress will only be progress away from humanity. The distance between you and them can one day become so great that your joyous cry over some new game could be answered by an universal shriek of horror. And, believe me, if I were again beginning my studies, I should follow the advice of Plato and start with mathematics. The increase of known truths stimulates the investigation, establishment, and growth of the arts. Who indeed will set bounds to human ingenuity? Who will assert that everything in the universe capable of being perceived is already discovered and known? Mathematics is the language with which God has written the universe. I think that in the discussion of natural problems we ought to begin not with the scriptures, but with experiments and demonstrations. To our natural and human reason, I say that these terms large, small, immense, minute, etc. are not absolute but relative. The same thing in comparison with various others may be called at one time immense and at another imperceptible. In the future, there will be opened a gateway and a road to a large and excellent science into which minds more piercing than mine shall penetrate to recesses still deeper. All truth is easy to understand once it has been discovered, the problem is discovering it. To me, a great ineptitude exists on the part of those who would have it that God made the universe more in proportion to the small capacity of their reason than to his immense, his infinite, power. You can't teach a man anything. You can only help him to find it in himself. Curiosity always comes first in a problem that wants to be solved. The greatness and the glory of God shine forth marvelously in all his works, and is to be read above all in the open book of the heavens. To apply oneself to great inventions, starting from the smallest beginnings, is no task for ordinary minds. To divine that wonderful arts lie hid behind trivial and childish things is a conception for superhuman talents. Where the senses fail us, reason must step in. Who would set a limit to the mind? Who would dare assert that we know all there is to be known? The fear of infinity is a form of myopia that destroys the possibility of seeing the actual infinite, even though it in its highest form has created and sustains us. I do not feel bound to believe that God, who endowed us with feelings and reason, intended us to forget them. Enthusiastic people experience life from the inside out. You cannot teach a person anything, you can only help him find it within himself. I have been in my bed for 5 weeks, oppressed with weakness and other infirmities from which my age, 74 years, permits me not to hope release. Added to this the sight of my right eye, that eye whose labors have had such glorious results, is forever lost. That of the left, which was and is imperfect, is rendered null by continual weeping. Thunderbolt and lightning, very very frightening me. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work at hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Before anything else, preparation is the key to success. Sometimes we stare so long at a door that is closing that we see too late the one that is open. When one door closes, another door opens, but we so often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door, that we do not see the ones which open for us. Concentrate all your thoughts upon the work in hand. The sun's rays do not burn until brought to a focus. Man is the result of slow growth. That is why he occupies the position he does in animal life. What does a pup amount to that has gained its growth in a few days or weeks, beside a man who only attains it in as many years? A man, as a general rule, owes very little to what he is born with, a man is what he makes of himself. I have always considered myself as an agnostic. Don't keep forever on the public road, going only where others have gone. Don't keep forever on the public road, going only where others have gone. Leave the beaten track occasionally and dive into the woods. You'll be certain to find something you have never seen before. Leave the beaten track behind occasionally and dive into the woods. Every time you do, you will be certain to find something you have never seen before. What this power is I cannot say. All I know is that it exists, and it becomes available only when a man is in that state of mind in which he knows exactly what he wants and is fully determined not to quit until he finds it. Wherever you may find the inventor, you may give him wealth or you may take from him all that he has, and he will go on inventing. He can no more help inventing than he can help thinking or breathing. The nation that secures control of the air will ultimately control the world. Great discoveries and improvements invariably involve the cooperation of many minds. I may be given credit for having blazed the trail, but when I look at the subsequent developments I feel the credit is due to others rather than to myself. It is a neck-and-neck race between Mr. Gray and myself who shall complete our apparatus first. He has the advantage over me in being a practical electrician, but I have reason to believe that I am better acquainted with the phenomena of sound than he is, so that I have an advantage there. It is not, of course, complete yet, but some sentences were understood this afternoon. I feel that I have at last struck the solution of a great problem, and the day is coming when telegraph wires will be laid onto houses just like water or gas, and friends converse with each other without leaving home. I have discovered that my interest in my dear pupil, Mabel, has ripened into a far deeper feeling than that of mere friendship. In fact, I know that I have learned to love her very sincerely. Such a chimerical idea as telegraphing vocal sounds would indeed, to most minds, seem scarcely feasible enough to spend time in working over. I believe, however, that it is feasible and that I have got the cue to the solution of the problem. From my earliest childhood, my attention was specially directed to the subject of acoustics, and specially to the subject of speech, and I was urged by my father to study everything relating to these subjects, as they would have an important bearing upon what was to be my professional work. Morse conquered his electrical difficulties although he was only a painter, and I don't intend to give in either till all is completed. The day will come when the man at the telephone will be able to see the distant person to whom he is speaking. It is hardly an exaggeration to say that oral teachers and sign teachers found it difficult to sit down in the same room without quarreling, and there was intolerance upon both sides. To say, oral method, to a sign teacher was like waving a red flag in the face of a bull, and to say, sign language, to an oralist aroused the deepest resentment. Dumbness comes from the fact that a child is born deaf and that it consequently never learns how to articulate, for it is by the medium of hearing that such instruction is acquired. When one door closes, another opens, but we often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the one which has opened for us. The only difference between success and failure is the ability to take action. The achievement of one goal should be the starting point of another. The inventor is a man who looks around upon the world and is not contented with things as they are. He wants to improve whatever he sees, he wants to benefit the world, he is haunted by an idea. The spirit of invention possesses him, seeking materialization. We are all too much inclined, I think, to walk through life with our eyes shut. There are things all round us and right at our very feet that we have never seen, because we have never really looked. God has strewn our paths with wonders and we certainly should not go through life with our eyes shut. I have traveled around the globe. I have seen the Canadian and American Rockies, the Andes, the Alps and the Highlands of Scotland, but for simple beauty, Cape Breton outrivals them all. It is the man who carefully advances step by step, who is bound to succeed in the greatest degree. What this power is, I cannot say. All I know is that it exists. The telephone will be used to inform people that a telegram has been sent. There cannot be mental atrophy in any person who continues to observe, to remember what he observes, and to seek answers for his unceasing hows and whys about things. Observe, remember, compare. With every door that closes a new one opens. Night is a more quiet time to work. It aids thought. Ordinary people who know nothing of phonetics or elocution have difficulties in understanding slow speech composed of perfect sounds, while they have no difficulty in comprehending an imperfect gabble if only the accent and rhythm are natural. I have heard articulate speech produced by sunlight. I have heard a ray of the sun laugh and cough and sing. I have been able to hear a shadow, and I have even perceived by ear the passage of a cloud across the sun's disk. Man is the result of slow growth, that is why he occupies the position he does in animal life. What does a pup amount to that has gained its growth in a few days or weeks, beside a man who only attains it in as many years? Be not the first by whom the new are tried, nor yet the last to lay the old aside. The inventor looks upon the world and is not contented with things as they are. He wants to improve whatever he sees, he wants to benefit the world, he is haunted by an idea. When one door closes, another opens, but we often look so long and so regretfully upon the closed door that we do not see the one that has opened for us. There are two critical points in every aerial flight: its beginning and its end. Washington is no place in which to carry out inventions. The final result of our researches has widened the class of substances sensitive to light vibrations, until we can propound the fact of such sensitiveness being a general property of all matter. Which quotation do you like the most? Don't forget to subscribe. Be kind, for everyone you meet is fighting a harder battle. Every heart sings a song, incomplete, until another heart whispers back. Those who wish to sing always find a song. At the touch of a lover, everyone becomes a poet. We can easily forgive a child who is afraid of the dark. The real tragedy of life is when men are afraid of the light. Only the dead have seen the end of war. The price good men pay for indifference to public affairs is to be ruled by evil men. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it by what amuses their minds, so that you may be better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. The heaviest penalty for declining to rule is to be ruled by someone inferior to yourself. According to Greek mythology, humans were originally created with 4 arms, 4 legs and a head with 2 faces. Fearing their power, Zeus split them into 2 separate parts, condemning them to spend their lives in search of their other halves. I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing. Never discourage anyone who continually makes progress, no matter how slow. Love is a serious mental disease. One of the penalties of refusing to participate in politics is that you end up being governed by your inferiors. Good people do not need laws to tell them to act responsibly, while bad people will find a way around the laws. The measure of a man is what he does with power. Ignorance, the root and stem of every evil. If women are expected to do the same work as men, we must teach them the same things. I'm trying to think, don't confuse me with facts. Those who tell the stories rule society. There is truth in wine and children. Human behavior flows from 3 main sources: desire, emotion, and knowledge. The madness of love is the greatest of heaven's blessings. Education is teaching our children to desire the right things. Courage is knowing what not to fear. There are three classes of men: lovers of wisdom, lovers of honor, and lovers of gain. In politics we presume that everyone who knows how to get votes knows how to administer a city or a state. When we are ill, we do not ask for the handsomest physician, or the most eloquent one. There are two things a person should never be angry at: what they can help, and what they cannot. You should not honor men more than truth. When men speak ill of thee, live so as nobody may believe them. The beginning is the most important part of the work. The object of education is to teach us to love what is beautiful. Those who are able to see beyond the shadows and lies of their culture will never be understood, let alone believed, by the masses. A house that has a library in it has a soul. How can you prove whether at this moment we are sleeping, and all our thoughts are a dream, or whether we are awake, and talking to one another in the waking state? Necessity is the mother of invention. The greatest wealth is to live content with little. Death is not the worst that can happen to men. Bodily exercise, when compulsory, does no harm to the body, but knowledge which is acquired under compulsion obtains no hold on the mind. Love is simply the name for the desire and pursuit of the whole. An empty vessel makes the loudest sound, so they that have the least wit are the greatest babblers. No man should bring children into the world who is unwilling to persevere to the end in their nature and education. Beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. Character is simply habit long continued. Musical innovation is full of danger to the state, for when modes of music change, the fundamental laws of the state always change with them. You're my star, a stargazer too, and I wish that I were heaven with a billion eyes to look at you. People are like dirt. They can either nourish you and help you grow as a person, or they can stunt your growth and make you wilt and die. Love is born into every human being. It calls back the halves of our original nature together. It tries to make one out of two and heal the wound of human nature. I thought to myself, I am wiser than this man. Neither of us probably knows anything that is really good, but he thinks he has knowledge, when he has not, while I, having no knowledge, do not think I have. There is in every one of us, even those who seem to be most moderate, a type of desire that is terrible, wild, and lawless. Good actions give strength to ourselves and inspire good actions in others. Writing is the geometry of the soul. I would teach children music, physics, and philosophy, but most importantly music, for the patterns in music and all the arts are the keys to learning.